I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, a regime change at the Federal Reserve. Former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, who is one of the top contenders to succeed Chair Jerome Powell next year, thinks the Eccles building needs overhaul, and it is not just replacing Jerome Powell. In an interview with the legendary Larry Kudlow on Fox Business, Warsh said that he sympathizes with President Donald Trump's frustrations over the central bank not lowering interest rates. Here's what he recently told Kudlow.
When I was at the Fed, I talked frequently about the need for Fed reform. Then around a decade ago, I started to say what the Fed needs is regime change. Well, they're sure proving it now. Regime change means new sets of policies, new way of thinking about economic growth, a new understanding of what really drives inflation. It also means new personnel.
Others have also placed a bullseye on the chief swamp creature. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently told Bloomberg Television that the Fed's problems extend beyond Jerome Powell. President Trump stated on Truth Social that the entire board should be ashamed for not lowering interest rates. Indeed, as Liberty Nation News has reported in the past, the Federal Reserve keeps shifting the goalposts on policy. It transitioned from wage inflation a decade ago to super core inflation and then to core PCE last year. Who knows what the chief data point is now? That said, all of this has been in the name of data dependence. However, despite the data favoring an interest rate cut comparable to what Powell did in September 2024 ahead of the presidential election, the central bank has pressed the hold button. In other words, data dependence is no longer a thing for whatever reason. But why? According to Powell and most of his colleagues, they are terrified of tarifflation. Because economic conditions are holding steady, the labor market is intact, the economy is growing, and inflationary pressures have yet to pop up, the Federal Reserve says it can afford to be patient and wait for more economic data. Whether this is a wise decision is up for debate, especially considering that tariff policy typically operates with a lag and could take up to a year to work its way through the marketplace. New minutes from the June Federal Open Market Committee policy meeting indicate that officials have little appetite to lower interest rates in July. The meeting summary highlighted that monetary policymakers now agree that tariff-driven inflation and adverse effects on the labor market will be minimal. So, when is the next rate cut anyway? Well, new CME FedWatch tool data suggests that investors expect the next rate cut in September. While the Federal Reserve has a century-long history of being a political institution at the beck and call of politicians and Wall Street, the last few years have spotlighted the organization's incompetence. From declaring inflation will be transitory, to keeping interest rates too low for too long, and misfiring on policy-making initiatives, the recent record suggests that a major overhaul at the Federal Reserve might be necessary. Now, the central bank is nearing the end of its 5-year review of the monetary policy framework. However, this will be limited, as it will not delve into the core aspects of monetary policy making, which of course is mainly money printing. Is the end near for the Federal Reserve System? Unlikely. That said, Warsh could be right that a chainsaw needs to be taken to the Eccles building, a reckoning if you will. Remember, most of the Fed economists lean left, and the status quo thinking insists that the only solution to any crisis or hiccup in the broader economy is printing money. If Warsh or Bessent or National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett were promoted to Fed chair in 2026, would things be different? Perhaps there would be upheaval, but it would likely result in the same thing: fiat money that is created out of thin air. In the end, to be clear, the Fed should not be arbitrarily setting interest rates. However, based on its record, the Federal Reserve would be lowering the benchmark federal funds rate by now. So much for the repeated declaration that the independent central bank is free from politics. That's it for me this week. Please read my full stories on the pages of LibertyNation.com and be sure to check out my previous Swamponomics TV videos and interviews. Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates or campaigns or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. Thank you. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Great